Alright guys, today we're going to go ahead and predict the 50-man roster of the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, this is the hardest job of any head coach to do because you're going to have to go ahead and let go a lot of players you might like. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off right away, wide receiver is a pretty, not easy subject to talk about, but it's pretty well known of where they're going to go. So obviously, yes, the 6 receivers on your screen right here will probably end up making the active roster. So far throughout training camp, Stanley Morgan would be the only guy to say maybe he could make the roster based on if he continues to perform. But because of the fact that Andre is looking really good. Charlie Jones, even though he just had an injury, he's looking fine. And even Trent Irwin, you look at yesterday, man had an absolute monster catch. We're going to say right away that all of these guys are going to be being removed from the active roster. So now we have 6 players that we just removed. We have 6 receivers on this squadron. So now we have 84 players to go. This is when things get a little bit more interesting. So for quarterbacks, we can kind of make a little bit easier of assumption that we're probably not going to be carrying 7 quarterbacks. I make a joke, 4 quarterbacks. So our first quarterback is going to go as an XFL guy right there. Now, they don't have the other quarterback on this list, which is the Miami Dolphins guy. But, actually, no, wait. That was the Miami Dolphins guy. They don't have the other guy that we have on the IR currently. But he's also not counting toward the roster, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, for running back, this is when things get a tad bit more interesting too. The reason why is because we do have our 3rd running back spot, and there's only one guy who's going to make the roster. It's going to be Trevion Williams, Chris Evans, or whatever we have down here, which is, let me show you, Calvin Tyler Jr., or Jacob Sayers. Now, my guess is both these guys will not make the active roster in the end, mainly because of the fact that the Bengals do love Chris Evans and Trevion Williams. Now, Trevion Williams did just get hurt, but of course, it's not really too big of a deal, as he said himself that he is coming back very quickly. Well, he's coming back very soon, and it's just a day-by-day type of scenario, so he should be fine. My guess in the end here is I'm going to guess that Trevion does make the active roster at that RB number 3 spot. Even though he is dealing with injury right now, I think that the Bengals will go ahead and keep him. At tight end, my guess is Nick Bowers would not make the squad. And I'm going to say, obviously, these guys aren't going to make the squad either. Go ahead and take these guys off. But my guess is for tight end number 3, because I do believe we'll probably go into this with a couple extra tight ends. Let me go ahead and subtract here. I know they love Mitchell Wilcox because he knows the offense very well. Devin obviously does too. I'm going to say Devin here. I'm going to cut off Devin here on the list and have them cut him. But I could see it be Mitchell Wilcox end up going ahead and moving on from. For the offensive line, you always love to have as much depth as possible, but at the end of the day, not everyone's going to make the active roster. My guess is I'm going to have Hakeem get cut here, and I think that Jackson Kirkley is going to make the active roster. They really like him. He has a lot of potential and upside, so I think he will be on there. Nate is going to be cut. So let's subtract that 1 there. Yeah, Brent Brown, I'm also going to say probably won't make the active roster. Again, a lot of these guys, they just get brought in because, training camp, you want to have extra bodies. But with that being said, they will probably not make the active roster in the end. I'm going to guess Donta Smith does not make the active roster now that we do have Orlando Brown. And I'm going to say, because Jackson Kirkland probably backs up Kappa. I could see us getting rid of Cody Ford. I'm going to say Cody Ford. There's nothing guaranteeing him money on this team, so there's really no reason to have him other than for extra offensive line depth. But I think they're going to want to use that depth elsewhere on another position. All right, so now defensive line. This is when things get a little bit crazy and interesting. So we're going to be deleting a lot of players here. Did not mean to do that. There we go. Let's go ahead and delete Owen. I'm going to delete Tyler Murphy here. And now we can kind of see a little bit better on this end. So let's go ahead and move this over. All right, so for left defensive end, all three of these guys, in my opinion, will make the active roster. They really do like Cam Sample. They obviously love Joseph Asai, and Sam Hubbard is a legend. For a defensive tackle, this is when things will get kind of quickly discarded. Maxwell is still dealing with his injury, but I just don't think he'll make the active roster even if he wasn't injured. He has upside, but at the same time, though, we have a lot of guys on this roster who are going to be making it over him. Same thing with our man right here. That's another body off this roster. We're down to 71 players, so still a lot of players left to be cut. Yeah, I'm going to say Davis, too. Go ahead and do that. I really like Zach Carter, so I'm going to keep him there. Maybe Jay here. I think it's right now, I'm going to keep Josh. It's between Zach Carter and Jay here. Who's going to make the team? I'm probably going to get rid of Jay. I just like Zach Carter. I think he's pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. For linebacking core here, Terrell Basham is still dealing with injury, so I think he will go ahead and be cut. And again, just because the player's dealing with injury does not mean they're automatically getting cut. Obviously, if a player's good enough, like Travion Williams is dealing with injury, but he'll make the roster. Charlie Jones just got hurt, but he'll make the roster, right? It really comes down to, again, how good the player is, and him dealing with injury, how much does it impact us overall wise. My guess is for linebackers, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Shaka. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Jalen here. And again, a lot of these guys, it's not impossible for a undrafted player to make the roster. It's very possible. You see it all the time in the NFL. The Ravens are like the king of getting undrafted players to make it on the roster. But it's usually very, very difficult for it to happen. Like Larry Brooks here, we're going to go ahead and cut him off the roster. And I'm trying to do this to kind of, before we get into kind of the more difficult choices, I want to go ahead and just kind of get rid of all the, loose ends here. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of Raymond Johnson. I might not. No, I will. The only reason I said that is because I do want to have depth at that right end position. But at the same time, though, Joseph Asai is going to play on both sides, most likely. So, Marcus Bailey, I think we keep him. See, now we're down to around 11 more players we got to cut. And this is when things get more interesting. I'm going to go ahead and cut him. Now, I think realistically speaking, they're going to want to at least here keep 5 corners, possibly 6. So we got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 corners. They're going to keep Sidney Jones. I truly believe they're going to keep Sidney Jones going into this year. So I'm going to go ahead and first off, Alan George. First corner we're going to get rid of. We're going to get rid of Jalen Davis. And we're going to keep the rest, I think. Yep. We're going to keep the rest because then Sidney Jones will fill in right here. And we got, I think DJ Ivy does make the team in the end. I surely believe he will. Probably get rid of Corku here. We have 7 more players we have to cut, guys. Oof. Okay. We're going to probably end up cutting a punter here. I think Brad Robbins makes the roster and not Drew Chrisman, personally. I love Drew Chrisman. I really do, but I don't think he's going to make the active roster. I think it's going to end up being him. Now, Cochran, does he count to what? He doesn't count to what, right? Because no, I think he does, even though he's on IR / he's on the, no, he's not on the public. He's on IR. I think he counts toward the active roster. Tell me down below if I'm incorrect, but I'm going to count him because I think he does count because he's not on IR for the season yet. He's on IR just for training camp. Kind of like how the pup list, you can activate a player at any time. All right, we got 5 more players to get rid of. I don't think we go into the season with 3 quarterbacks. So I think Jake Browning. I think Jake Browning ends up not making the roster. We got 5 more players left. And no, we're not going to touch our offensive line depth. We're not going to touch quarterback. We're not going to touch a running back. We might. I'm going to say Keandre. We're going to cut him. 3 more players. I hope I wasn't incorrect on the exact number. We might be at 53 right now, in all honesty, but I don't think we are yet. I really like Marcus Bailey. I'm going to say Joe gets cut. 2 more players. Tyson Anderson. And I think I'm like 1 off. I think we're at 53 now. I said 54 on my calculator, but I think we're at 53 now because there's no way we have 1 more player to cut. I don't think that's even possible here. Because we already cut Trent Taylor, so let's actually go ahead and get rid of the loose ends here. We already cut Chris Evans, too. So, yeah. There's no way we have another player to cut. Because if he fills in here... Because keep in mind, a lot of these players kind of weird how they're filling in, but... Like, he'll go up here and be the depth here. Yeah, no. I'm going to say 100%. I think we're at 53-man roster here. So here's what we got. We got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Trent Irwin, Andre, and Charlie Jones. Offensive line, we have left tackle, which is Orlando Brown. We have Jackson Carman backing him up. We have Cordell Volson and Max backing him up. Teddy K and Trey Hill. Alex Kappa and Jackson Kirkland. We have Jonah Williams and we have Lael Collins. We, of course, do have Irv Smith, Drew Sample, and Mitchell Wilcox. Joe Burrow and Trevor Siemian. Joe Mixon, Chase Brown, and Travion Williams. Sam Hubbard, Joseph Asai, and Cam Sample. DJ Reader and Josh. BJ Hill and Zach Carter. Trey Hendrickson and Miles Murphy. Jermaine Pratt and Marcus Bailey. Logan Wilson and Akeem Davis Gaither. Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, Dax Hill, Jordan Battle, Nick Scott, Michael Thomas, Cheeto, DJ Ivy, and Sidney Jones, and then Mike Hilton. We have Brad Robbins, Money Mac, Cal, and that is it for the active roster. So those are the 53 men we have left after all the cuts. Keep in mind, this video, guys, we went from 90 guys to 53 guys, which obviously is a huge change. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.